Good morning, all. Good morning, Chair, board members. Morning, Chair, board members, Madam CEO, staff, and members of the public. I'll just remind everyone again to please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices for the entire meeting. If you're a presenter or a board member speaking, please speak directly and loudly into the microphone. Also ensure that the light on the microphone is green before speaking. I'm noting for the record that board members Gavin and Wright are absent today. Chair, there are no members of the public wishing to provide comments. As such, we will proceed with the regular calendar. The first order of business is to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Seconded by?
I'll second.
Thank you, Member Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you so much. Chair, I invite you to make any comments or remarks that you wish to make.
Nope, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Madam CEO, I'll also invite you to make comments or remarks.
Thank you so much. I had just a couple of comments. The first is on the micro purchases and the events of February 6th. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that NYCHA has zero tolerance for any wrongful or illegal activity. The individuals involved in these acts put their greed first, and they violated the trust of our residents, their fellow NYCHA colleagues, and all New Yorkers. The actions are counter to everything that we stand for as public servants and will not be tolerated in any form. In the past 5 years, NYCHA has achieved many significant milestones while remaining vigilant to ensure integrity in every area of our work. We have already made transformative changes to our business practices, and we continue to do so. We will not allow bad actors to disrupt or undermine our achievements. We want to thank Ralph Iannuzzi, who's here today, NYCHA's Inspector General, Jocelyn Strauber, the Commissioner of DOI, Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and their respective teams for their diligence in this investigation and their cooperation and collaboration with NYCHA, especially around the operations that needed to, the continuity of operations that needed to take place. We will continue to work with all of our law enforcement partners to rid the authority of any and all malfeasance. And I'm now going to turn it over to David Rohde, NYCHA's General Counsel, who will provide a bit more detail regarding the matter. Thank you.
Good morning, board members, members of the public, colleagues. I would like to address this very serious and disturbing charges of bribery against 70 current and former NYCHA employees in connection with the micro-purchasing contracts. As Lisa mentioned, these alleged acts that have been accused by the U.S. Attorney's Office represent an intolerable circumstance at NYCHA. And we have zero tolerance for wrongful and illegal activity. All of the implicated employees have been suspended. NYCHA leadership, as well as our compliance and quality assurance teams, work closely with DOI and NYCHA's Inspector General. Our teams identified suspicious activity, as well as a lack of controls in this area, and proactively sent information to DOI for review. We will continue to work with our law enforcement partners to rid the authority of any and all malfeasance. NYCHA has been working over the past few years to improve the micro-purchasing process. Following a prior DOI investigation in September 2021, DOI made 5 recommendations regarding micro-purchases. While NYCHA did not implement DOI's exact recommendations, DOI's findings provided the authority with the direction to undertake considerable incremental changes and improved internal controls to attempt to mitigate the risk while ensuring developments could provide efficient services to residents, especially when emergencies arise. The procedural, training, and oversight changes that NYCHA implemented reduced the spending on micro purchases by nearly half. And by reducing that spending by nearly half, we reduced the risk of fraud, waste, abuse, corruption by the proportional amount. Fundamentally, we believe that developments need an appropriate level of flexibility to be able to secure the fastest possible service for residents, particularly during emergencies. And government entities, including public housing authorities across the nation, as well as other city agencies, commonly use micro purchases to obtain critical services quickly. In addition to enabling developments to get smaller and lower cost repairs done expeditiously without undergoing a lengthy and complex procurement process, micro purchases support our MWBE and local hiring goals. However, after this clear violation of trust and misuse of authority, we are in the process of implementing DOI's full suite of 14 recommendations. All of DOI's recommendations have either already been implemented or are underway. We expect to fully implement all of the recommendations within a year. While we work to enact these important structural changes as part of our larger organizational transformation efforts, there will be increased oversight of the micro-purchase program. We believe that with the additional oversight and the implementation of DOI's latest recommendations, we can continue to tackle this issue and make progress, all in service of our residents. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York is prosecuting these cases and will determine in each case how and when it will proceed. While the SDNY has exclusive jurisdiction in these cases, NYCHA has respectfully requested an expeditious resolution to these matters. Thank you. CEO Bova Hyatt and I are happy to answer any questions that you have.
So others may have questions. Maybe I'll start out by just saying something, if I could. So you've heard from the CEO and you've now heard from the General Counsel on this. And I have a couple of observations. One is the day of the arrest, I spent most of the day down here with many members of the senior team who were responding to this. And having been around a long time, different places in the government and the private sector and dealt with things like this was as good a reaction and a response across the board as any I've ever seen. Everybody was united, everybody dealt with the facts on the ground and made sure, first of all, that there was, as you said, no continuity of operations issues. There was communication with residents, there was communication with all the various stakeholders. I mean, it was everything got done very, very quickly, and the team got their arms around a very complicated, broad, in the sense of across the system problem. So I think people should feel comfortable that this was dealt with quickly and professionally and well, I think. I know. So that's why, and has been dealt with since then. You heard some from David about the response, the 14 points and the operational responses and so forth. So I'm convinced that NYCHA takes this extremely seriously within NYCHA's ambit of responsibility, which is as an operational issue first and foremost. Figure out what the operational impacts are, make sure it doesn't happen again to the extent possible, and make sure that the operations continue. So that's one thing. Two, at the same time, it's not NYCHA's job to be a prosecutor. That's the Southern District's job. Everybody I think would like to see NYCHA be forceful, and I've heard from the monitor on this point, crack down all this stuff. That's not NYCHA's job. Is to make sure that the discipline is in place and that there's a culture of compliance, which NYCHA has done. But it's not NYCHA's job to be a prosecutor, and I think it's important to understand the distance, the line between those two functions. Having said that, the other thing that I think everybody in that room when we were there on Tuesday felt, and I know the board feels, and David and I think Lisa both expressed that, is disappointment and anger at the alleged acts. And if there's, nobody should doubt that that's a pretty broadly held feeling at NYCHA among the staff, because the immense amount of really good work that's been done at the agency in the last several years to get on top of its longstanding issues sometimes can get lost when things like this happen. And these events are in no way representative of anything else that's happening at NYCHA, all the excellent work, but it, rightly makes people angry. And as I said, disappointed. So if, that should come through. I think sometimes people like David and Lisa and others who are just so good at their jobs, the operational side of their jobs, end up sounding like they're sort of dispassionate and, focused on the day-to-day operations, and that's what they should be doing, but there is real anger and disappointment. And a commitment to making sure that to the extent possible doesn't happen anymore, and that's what I've seen, so.
Thank you, Chair. Are there any other questions or comments?
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
I'll make my comments.
I just have two other brief comments.
Okay, sure.
I just wanted to provide an update on ERAP. The total number of ERAP payments requests submitted is 26,683. NYCHA has received $135 million in ERAP payments for 22,500 applications. Of the 22,500 applications, we've received payment for. NYCHA IT has applied payment to 11,844 tenant accounts. And we are pending additional payments from OTDA for $10.7 million. And finally, I just wanted to let you know that today our new monitor starts, Jenner and Block. And we are excited to work with Neil Borofsky and Matt Cipolla. And we look forward to this new monitorship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now proceed to the calendar items 1 through 16. Item 1, Jacqueline.
Good morning, board members. My name is Jacqueline Sullivan. I'm the Vice President for Healthy Homes, and I'm presenting on item 1 today. Item 1 is requesting authorization to ratify a contract capacity increase to Abatement Unlimited. This is a citywide contract for asbestos abatement and replacement of floor tiles in move-out apartments. The increase to the not-to-exceed amount is $15 million. This contract has a total projected labor hours of 20,000 with 5,000 Section 3 labor hours. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, Keith.
Morning, board members. Here present item number 2, which is an award of a requirement contract for replacement of motorized steam control valve stations and heating control panels to TR Pipe. The scope of work includes but is not limited to furnishing all labor, materials, equipment, insurance, and incidentals required to remove and install motorized steam control valve stations and heating control panels. This was prepared for bid by the Supply Management and Procurement Department with no issue to preclude. I do this every time, so. The not to exceed amount is $4,594,576. And the labor hours are 2,856 with a projected 714.25. Any questions?
I'm sorry, what's the amount? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
2,856 hours.
The amount, dollar figure.
462,007. I said it wrong. $462,738.72.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair.
I'm just curious, is this a contract for supply of parts, or is this labor?
No, it's both labor and materials. So this will be full replacement of the steam control valves.
I was just curious, because usually when we have the section 3s on the capital items, generally, my memory is we don't usually have section 3 because it's, manufacturing, this is.
Labor and materials.
Yeah, okay, very good. Thanks, Kevin. I gotcha.
No problem.
These motorized, and let me know if I'm speaking too loud.
Sure.
'Cause
Not at all.
these motorized, steam control valve, is that the norm, or is this something new that we're working on?
No, this is the norm. So that's when we say we have to, we say like, we'll adjust the zone valve on the riser. That's actually what's at the base of the riser that controls steam flow up the riser. So it'll open a certain percentage based on the temperature.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be done manual, it's my own.
Well, right, if the zone valve fails, we do have a manual bypass, but in order for this to operate effectively, we want the zone valve to be motorized and controlled electronically through the system. So that's what this is, to replace that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Items 3 and 4, Lakeisha.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I am presenting item 3 and 4 today for your consideration. Item 3 requests authorization to transfer 3,000 units of the authority's assigned 114,546 units in its current annual contributions contract to the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development. The annual contributions contract is a written contract between HUD and the authority and outlines the basic rules on administering the authority's Section 8 program. The ACC is updated annually by letter, which sets forth the number of units and maximum payment by HUD over the ACC term. As of January 1st, the ACC authority, as I said, was 114,546. We are currently utilizing 84%, or 96,257 units. This transfer, if approved, would not require the transfer of budget authority to HPD and does not impact the program's ability to continue issuing vouchers to waitlist applicants. The goal of this transfer is to further expand the public's access to rental assistance.
Just talk a little bit closer to the mic.
Okay. Okay. Our partners at HPD have fully utilized their voucher capacity or units, but has ample reserves in its budget to support more families. This transfer, if approved, would allow HPD to provide Section 8 rental assistance to families in need of stable housing. With the growing homelessness crisis in New York City, all available rental assistance must be made available to the public. HUD has notified the authority and HPD via email of its support of this transfer of ACC between agencies. To obtain HUD's final approval of the transfer, the authority must provide to HUD a board resolution approving the transfer of 3,000 units of the ACC authority to HPD. Therefore, LHD recommends that the members approve such board resolution and permit this transfer. Any questions?
Proceed.
Okay. Item 4.
Vice Chair, do you have a question?
A statement. I thought she was finished.
Proceed. No,
I'll wait till
she's
she finishes.
going on to the next item. Did you have a comment on item 3?
I'm sorry, they haven't
Okay.
fixed it yet. I just have a statement. I'll wait till you finish with whatever many you have.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Proceed.
My second item is item 4, requesting authorization to ratify the adoption of the amendments to the authority's Housing Choice Voucher Program's administrative plan. Most recently amended by Board Resolution 22-6, 15-1, in accordance with HUD's regulations at 24 CFR 982.54, governing the program to revise policies to be consistent with new HUD guidelines on fair housing, program admissions and eligibility payment standards, housing quality standards, and other program policies, and to address minor edits to provide better clarification of existing policies. It is recommended that the members approve the amendments to the administrative plan. Thank you in advance. Any questions?
No questions. Vice Chair, you had a statement.
I just wanted to thank you for all the things that you've done for those residents that were having problems understanding the system and getting letters that they didn't quite understand. Thank you for taking away their fears.
No problem. Thank you for assisting the PAC residents
Yes.
always and reaching out to us. I appreciate the collaboration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Sergio, 5 and 6.
I'm short enough. I'll be fine for tonight. Good morning, board members. I'm Sergio Panecki, Chief Procurement Officer for NYCHA. I'll be presenting items number 5 and 6 for your consideration. Item number 5 seeks authorization to ratify the award of a requirement contract to Independent Hardware for the selected 67 line items out of the 17 that were procured in the amount of $4,104,318.96 for the purchase of delivery of hardware for doors. This is a 3-year requirement contract with two 1-year renewals. There is a negative 39% variance between IHI's bid and the authority's cost estimate. This is attributed to the vendor providing, actually being the manufacturer of these items and passing the savings through to the authority. A vendor name check dated July 18th of 2023 was vetted by Procurement Ethics and Vendor Responsibility Unit, citing no issues to preclude award. Given this contract is for goods, a Section 3 plan is not required. Are there any questions on this item? Thank you. Item number 6 seeks authorization to approve a contract capacity increase. The requirement contract awarded to Electric ELO Manufacturing Company in the amount of $2,210,917.07 for the purchase and delivery of pipes and sewer tools. This is a 3-year requirements contract. The contract capacity increase is necessary to provide capacity for the remainder of the contract term, address the excessive number of intended requisitions for pipes and sewer tools. A vendor name check is not required. Given this contract is for goods, a Section 3 plan is not required. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you.
Items 7 through 10, Angela.
Good morning, Madam Secretary, board members, Madam CEO, and the Chair. Good morning. My name is Angela Gatson. I am the Vice President for Bronx Management Property Management Office. I will be presenting items 7 through 10 for your hearing and consideration. Excuse me. Items 7 and 8 are for general welding. It is to award 2 IDIQ contracts between the authority and Simcoe Enterprises Corporations. The resolutions are 3-year IDIQ contracts with 2 1-year renewal options to be exercised at the authority's sole discretion. Item number 7 is for various development citywide for the Bronx. The requested amount is for $10 million. Item number 8 is for various development citywide for Brooklyn, and the requested amount is for $10 million. Simcoe indicated on its Section 3 hiring plan that the total estimated labor hours is 10,000 and the Section 3 total projected labor hours is 2,500 for each item.
Proceed, I'm sorry.
Item number 9 is for plumbing services. This is to approve a contract capacity increase to this IDIQ contract awarded to Watson Plumbing, Heating and Building Services Incorporated. The resolution is for an initial 3-year term with 2 1-year renewal options to increase the not-to-exceed amount in order to fund the continued provision of services during the remainder of the initial 3-year term. The requested amount is for $7,500,000. Watson's Plumbing indicated on its Section 3 hiring plan that the total estimated labor hours is 3,500 and the Section 3 total projected labor hours is 875. Item number 10 is for...
Sorry. Member Belafonte has a question?
You may not know the answer to this, but the lowest responsive bidder, they were disqualified, but what was the difference between this amount here, the 10 million, and what the lowest responsive bidder was? We're down to the 6th. We DQ'd the first 5, and so this must be number 6, I guess, in terms of the lowest responsive, but where were the first 5? Do we give them an opportunity to cure? I mean, we're down, I'm just reading the first lowest responsive, non-responsive, lowest, second lowest, third, fourth. We're down to number 6. Where were the first? I'm looking at item number 7 and item number 8.
I think Sergio Panicay can explain, or give you some,
I'll give you some background.
exactly.
So these are sealed bids.
Yeah.
And at that point, there really isn't an opportunity to cure if those particular items that found them non-responsive were material. The one thing that the program units and whatnot can determine on whether or not it's in the best interest of the authority to rebid. So based on the cost estimate, and based on the circumstances and the need, it was determined that procurement should proceed. But when it comes to sealed bids, that's one of the issues that we have in not being able to cure those sorts of material issues.
And that's set by state statute,
And that is by PHL 151 state statute.
so we don't have flexibility.
Carry on.
Thank you, Sergio.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Sergio.
Item number 10 is for janitorial debris removal, sanitizing of basements and crawl space areas, emergency pumping and canopy cleaning. To approve a contract capacity increase to this IDIQ contract awarded to Polar Construction Corporation. The resolution is subsequently amended for an initial 3-year term with 2 one-year renewal options to increase the not-to-exceed amount in order to fund the continued provisions of services during the remainder of the initial 3 years. This is for various developments in Queens and Staten Island. The requested amount is for $600,000. Polo indicated on his Section 3 hiring plan that the total estimated labor hours is 15,620, and the Section 3 total projected labor hours is 3,905. Any questions? This ends my
Yes,
presentation.
no question.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Angela. Item 11, Oliver.
Good morning, Board. I'm Oliver Osterwind, Vice President for Project Management in the Asset and Capital Management Division. I'll be presenting item 11, which seeks authorization to award a contract for the Early Childhood Center renovation at White Houses in the amount of $2,493,000 to Gemco Electrical Contractors, and the projected Section 3 labor hours are 1,125. Any questions?
There appears to be none. Thank you, Oliver. 12 and 13, Siobhan.
Good morning, board members. My name is Siobhan Watson, Senior Director for Sustainability in NYCHA's Asset and Capital Management Division. I'm presenting on items 12 and 13. Sorry about that, can you guys hear me? Both are for the award of green infrastructure contracts to J.R. Cruise Corporation, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for both bids. These are green infrastructure contracts at various developments that involve excavation of paved areas of parking lots, play areas, and interior walkways, installation of subsurface stormwater retention systems and associated storm sewer connections, and the restoration of affected areas. The intention is to manage stormwater on site and improve New York City's ability to manage rain. The first contract is for $10,480,880.90. The projected number of labor hours is 25,613, of which 6,403 will be Section 3 hours. The second contract is for $9,848,583.90. The projected Section 3 labor hours for that one are 26,400, out of which 6,600 would be Section 3 labor hours. Any questions?
I'm just curious, is this something that we're doing because DEC is not doing it, or is this somehow our responsibility and not DEC's?
So DEP has,
DEP, I'm sorry.
yeah, this is part of a partnership with DEP, so they've actually designed these, and we are handling the construction contracts. The funding has come over from an allocation of money that they received to do this citywide, so it's not coming out of NYCHA's budget. It's paid for actually through CDBG DR funds that DEP received to pay for their stormwater work.
So this is Sandy money originally?
It's not Sandy money, it's part of the allocation that was for IDA, but it's sort of a mitigation pot for stormwater generally.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Item 14, Christopher.
Good morning, board members. My name is Chris Delamonte and I'm the Deputy Director for the Comprehensive Modernization Department. Today I'm presenting item number 14 for your consideration, which is seeking authorization to amend Board Resolution 23-11/30-21, which authorized the entering into 7 agreements with 7 firms for construction management as agent services for the authority's comprehensive organization department projects, to reflect 1 additional agreement with 1 firm, resulting in a total of 8 agreements with 8 firms. All other terms and conditions set forth in board resolution shall remain unchanged. The company is Nyack Vertex JV. They are an MDE. A VNC was requested on 11/21/23 and is pending. The total projected labor hours are 125,000, and the projected section 3 hours are 31,250. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Joy, 15.
Hi, I'm Joy Cinderbrand, Senior Vice President for Capital Programs, presenting item 15, which seeks authorization to approve a contract capacity increase for Kudum Construction. Requirement contract, this is for the continued rental of natural gas boilers at Red Hook East and West for the not to exceed amount of $2,307,060. The permanent replacement boilers at this site are anticipated to be online in the third quarter of 2024. The project is really getting closer to completion. It's about 85% complete. So if you go to Red Hook now, you start seeing fences coming down and some of the beautiful new public spaces are.
Thank you, Joy. Item 16, Michael.
Good morning, board members. I'm Michael Jones. I'm Design Director in the Real Estate Development Department. I'm presenting item 16 for your consideration, which seeks authorization to approve contract capacity increase to an IDIQ agreement for architectural services at various PAC developments. The combined total increase amount is $950,000. The IDIQ agreement for architectural services was awarded to Nelligan White Architects and commenced in March of 2021. The contract number is 2020-263. The term of the contract is an initial 3 years with 2 one-year renewal options, which will continue automatically for a total term of 5 years. The original agreement was awarded by Real Estate Development Department for a total of $950,000. This vendor provides as-needed architectural services for the PACT program, including ongoing design review support for PACT projects throughout procurement and the pre-development phases. We are not requesting an extension of the term of the contract. The vendor has provided a Section 3 plan that committed under OEO to hire 1 intern each year for paid internships, and a vendor name check is not required. Happy to take any questions.
I think I asked this, but I just want to be clear. On the OEO is to find interns, and I think you said 1 intern?
One intern per year. They will be doing similar work to professional services for
And
architects.
what exactly is the intern gonna do?
Yeah, so it's a professional services at an architecture firm, so they'll be contributing to the architectural design and analysis that that team is bringing to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Chair, 16 items were presented for board approval. Board, may I have a motion to approve 16 items?
So moved.
Thank you.
He got shut out earlier.
Seconded by Member McCoy. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you so much. And being that all matters before the board today have been addressed, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Vice Chair, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you so much. The recorded end time is 10:39. Thank you all. The next night board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 28, 2024 at 10 a.m. See you then. Have a great